We have some breaking NFL news as Zach Wilson has been traded from the Gents to the Denver Broncos. And you might be asking, well, why are you sharing this with us, Brad, on a 49ers channel? Because it ties to Trey Lance and it ties to the other four quarterbacks that were taken at that top 15 of the 2021 NFL draft as well. Outside of Trevor Lawrence, the second overall pick, Zach Wilson, who just got traded today for basically free. It was a sixth and seventh round pick swap, but it was 53 picks in between that swap. So it was a late round pick swap, and the Jets are eating a portion of the contract. Uh, the Broncos just got a free quarterback essentially here. So there's upside he could develop. We'll see. We'll see how it all ultimately pans out. But again, the tie back to the San Francisco 49ers is obviously that this draft class of the 2021 quarterbacks was touted as the best quarterback draft that we had seen in a long time. And it's pretty funny because this draft class with guys like Caleb Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix, you look at JJ McCarthy, you look at some of these other guys that are out there, Jaden Daniels, who will be drafted high. It just is kind of like a reminder of, man, like you just go back to 2021. Zach Wilson is traded. Trey Lance is traded for a fourth round draft pick. Justin Fields gets traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a sixth round draft pick. Mac Jones gets traded to the Jags for a sixth round draft pick. So, although each team who selected one of these quarterbacks missed, and obviously what stands out the most with the San Francisco 49ers is they are the only team that traded up to go up and get a quarterback at number 3. However, at least they were able to get the highest amount of compensation in return, which again was that fourth round draft pick, which they will be potentially using in this upcoming draft in some form or fashion, whether via trade or actually just sitting there and taking the draft pick. But it's just a reminder of like how imperfect the evaluation process is. Everyone will tell you, well, this is why these key things need to be checked off the box in order to be considered an NFL quality player. And of course, you're always going to look at height, weight, speed, how big is your arm, especially for the quarterback thing. But I think again, it also puts an emphasis on guys like Brock Purdy and just how important the intangibles are. When I say intangibles, I'm talking about confidence. I'm talking about competitive spirit. I'm talking about leadership, intangibles, being able to handle adversity, being able to handle pressure of outside scrutiny. Um, that is an intangible quality. And everything I've heard about Zach Wilson is he just couldn't handle it. He didn't have confidence. He has all the talent in the world, and it's very similar to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has all the talent in the world, but he didn't have the intangible qualities. And it's one of the reasons why I was out on Sam Darnold in that draft class. It's just a reminder that you can look at these prospects and be like, man, he checks every single box. But at the end of the day, it's the intangible quality, especially for a leadership position like the quarterback, where you got to be a CEO type. You really do, in my opinion. You got to be able to command the locker room. You got to be able to command respect from some of the best players in the league. Doesn't matter what team you're on. And that's why the 49ers have lucked out with Brock Purdy. Like you can see, like all these quarterbacks that have been traded have been considered some of the best quarterbacks to come out in a long time. And it's just wild. It's wild that everyone outside of Trevor Lawrence has been traded. I mean, Mac Jones is backing up Trevor Lawrence. It's crazy, man. But it also just a reminder again of like the 49ers just absolutely striking gold by being able to find Brock Purdy, develop Brock Purdy, and just the success that they've been able to have with him shouldn't be taken for granted. And just another reminder of how difficult this process is. You can focus on all the height, weight, traits, intangibles. You can put on a reel of all the wild throws that you want. What is hard to evaluate, what is hard to understand is when everything is against you. You've thrown 2 picks. The offense is not working. How do you manage yourself? How do you push your team forward and continue to stay competitive and continue to fight and continue to lead after you yourself are not playing your best game? We saw Brock Purdy in the playoffs do just that against the Green Bay Packers. Even at the first half against the Detroit Lions, he didn't have his best games early on, but what did he do? He kept fighting, he kept pushing, he kept grinding, and he found out a way to grind out those wins. And that is big, hugely due to the intangible element of being able to manage all of those different types of things in those types of moments. You know, they say pressure makes diamonds, but sometimes pressure also busts pipes. And I think when you look at some of these guys, like, yes, Justin Fields has high traits. He still has some upside in this league. He could still be he could still be a good quarterback. But there are some intangible things that he needs to correct. He needs to get better at reading defenses. He needs to get better at playing within the structure of offenses and things like that. There's those are intangible aspects. So as we look forward to this incoming draft class, we got another group of quarterbacks. There's no guarantee that all of them are going to be successful. Who knows who's going to be the late round guy who shocks the world? We'll find out. Sometimes all you need is just an opportunity, but it's just wild because now it's official, man. All the quarterbacks that were selected after Trevor Lawrence in that first round in the top 15 picks have all officially been traded. But hey, the San Francisco 49ers, I guess, again, yes, they gave up the most. So we're not celebrating that. But hey, at least they were able to net a 4th round draft pick for Trey Lance, which hopefully they can turn into, who knows, if we can turn that 4th round pick in this year's draft class into a long-time starter, man, you make it a Pro Bowler, you make it a future Hall of Famer. Oh, we could find a way to justify it a little bit better. But again, just a wild kind of closing as we get ready for the NFL draft. Quarterbacks have been moved. 49ers land on Brock Purdy. We'll see what happens in this upcoming draft. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.